The last bit of sun was flaring on the western horizon as we passed the boundary stone that marked the palace grounds. We heard the cry go off from the guards and an answering trumpet. We crested the hill, and the palace lay before us. Behind it brooded the sea. And there, on the house's threshold, sudden as lightning strike, stood Thetis. Her hair shone black against the white marble of the palace. Her dress was dark, the colour of an uneasy ocean, bruising purples mixed with churning greys. Somewhere beside her there were guards and Peleus too, but I did not look at them. I saw only her, and the curved knife's blade of her jaw. Your mother. I could have sworn she looked at me as if she had heard. I swallowed and forced myself onward. She will not hurt me. Chiron has said she will not. It was strange to see her among mortals. She made all of them, guards and Peleus alike, look bleached and wan, though it was her skin that was pale as bone. She stood well away from them, spearing the sky with her unnatural height. The guards lowered their eyes in fear and deference. Thetis drew him into an embrace, and I saw the guards shifting their feet. They were wondering what her skin felt like. They were glad they did not know.
Son of my womb, flesh of my flesh, Achilles, be welcome home.
Thank you, Mother. He understood that she was claiming him. We all did. It was proper for a son to greet fathers first. Mothers came second, if at all. But she was a goddess.
Be welcome, son, and be welcome, Patroclus.
What is the news, Father?
I've not now said that I do not plan to until everyone is gathered. We were waiting on you. Come, and let us begin.
We followed him into the palace. I wanted to speak to Achilles, but did not dare to. Thetis walked right behind us. Servants skittered from her, huffing in surprise. The goddess. Her feet made no sound as they moved over the stone floor. Crammed full of tables and benches. Servants hurried by with platters of food or lugged mixing bowls brimming with wine. At the front of the room was a dais raised. This is where Peleus would sit beside his son and wife.
Father, I do not see a place for Patroclus.
Achilles, it does not matter. I will sit with the men. It is all right.
Patroclus is my sworn companion. His place is beside me.
Ah, very well.
She already hates you.
Why has she come?
I don't know. It's strange. I haven't seen them together since I was a young boy.
Chiron thinks the news will be war.
But there's always war in my city. I don't see why we should have been called.
Peleus had sat, and a herald blew 3 short blasts on his trumpet. It was the signal for the meal to begin. Quickly, the room was swollen with men jostling for seats and gossiping. I heard the edge in their voices, a rising excitement. There was nothing on their minds but the man from Mycenae and the news he had brought. Thetis was seated also. There was no plate for her, no knife. The gods lived on ambrosia and nectar, on the savour of our burnt offerings and the wine we poured over their altars. Strangely, she was not so visible here, so blazing as she had been outside. The bulky, ordinary furniture seemed to diminish her somehow. Peleus stood. The room quieted out to the farthest benches.
I have received word from Mycenae, from the sons of Atreus, Agamemnon and Menelaus.
The final stirrings and murmurs ceased utterly. Even the servants stopped. I did not breathe.
There has been a crime. Menelaus' wife, the Queen Helen, has been abducted from the palace in Sparta.
Helen! The hushed whisper of men to their neighbours. Since her marriage, the tales of her beauty had grown still greater. Menelaus had built around her palace walls thick with double-layered rock. He had trained his soldiers for a decade to defend it, but for all his care, she had been stolen. Who had done?
Menelaus welcomed an embassy from King Priam of Troy. At its head was Priam's son, the Prince Paris. It is he who is responsible. He stole the queen from her bedchamber as the king slept.
A rumble of outrage. Only an Easterner would so dishonor the kindness of his host. Everyone knew how they dripped with perfume, were corrupt from soft living. A real hero would have taken her outright, with the strength of his sword.
Agamemnon and Mycenae appealed to the men of Hellas to sail for Priam's kingdom to her rescue. Troy is rich and will be easily taken, they say. All those who will return will come home wealthy and renowned.
This was well worded. Wealth and reputation were the things our people had always killed for.
I've been asked to send a delegation of men from Thea, and I've agreed. Though I will not ask anyone who does not wish to fight, and I will not lead the army myself.
Who will lead it?
That has not yet been determined.
Phoenix's eyes flickered to his son. No, I thought. My hand tightened on the edge of the chair. Not yet. Across from me, Thetis' face was cool and still, her eyes distant. She knew this was coming. She wants him to go. Chiron and the Rose Cave seemed impossibly far away, a childish idyll. I understood suddenly the weight of Chiron's words. War was what the world would say Achilles was born for. That his hands and swift feet were fashioned for this alone, the cracking of Troy's mighty walls. They would throw him among thousands of Trojan spears and watch with triumph as he stained his fair hands red.
Lord Phoenix will note the names of all those who wish to fight. There's more. Before Helen's betrothal to King Menelaus, she had many suitors. It seems these suitors swore an oath to protect her, whosoever might win her hand. Agamemnon and Menelaus charged these men to uphold their oath and bring her back to her rightful husband.
I stared. An oath. In my mind, the sudden image of a brazier and the spill of blood from a white goat, a rich hall filled with towering men. The herald lifted the list. The room seemed to tilt, and my eyes would not focus.
Antenor, Eurypylus, Machaon.
I recognized many of the names. We all did. They were the heroes and kings of our time, but they were more to me than that. I had seen them in a stone chamber heavy with fire smoke.
Agamemnon.
A memory of a thick black beard, a brooding man with narrow, watchful eyes.
Odysseus.
The scar that wrapped his calf, pink as gums.
Ajax.
Twice as large as any man in the room, with his huge shield behind him.
Philoctetes.
The bowman.
Idomeneus. Diomedes. Menoetius.
The herald paused a moment, and I heard the murmur, "Who?" My father had not distinguished himself in the years since my exile. His fame had diminished, his name was forgotten, and those who did know of him had never heard of a son. I sat frozen, afraid to move lest I give myself away. I am bound to this war. Is that you? You were there?
Listen, it is not your name. Say nothing. We will think of what to do. We will ask Chiron.
The names kept coming, and memories came with them. 3 women on a dais, and one of them Helen. A pile of treasure and my father's frown. I had thought. I had dreamt it. I had not. When the herald was finished, Peleus dismissed the men. They stood as one, benches scraping, eager to get to Phoenix to enlist.
Come, I wish to speak further to both of you.
I looked at Thetis to see if she would come too, but she was gone.
We sat by Peleus' fireside.
Achilles, I've called you home with the thought you may wish to lead this army.
It was spoken.
I have not yet finished with Chiron.
You've spent more time on Pinon than I have, more than any hero before.
That does not mean I must run home to help the sons of Atreus every time they lose their wives.
There's no doubt that Menelaus rages at the loss of his wife, but the messenger came from Agamemnon. He's seen Troy grow rich and bright for years and thinks to pluck her. The taking of Troy is a feat worthy of our greatest heroes. There's much honor to be won from sailing with him.
There will be other wars.
How about Patroclus? He's called to serve.
He is no longer the son of Menoetius. He's not bound by that same oath.
I hear some shuffling there.
I do not think so. The oath was undone when his father disowned.
I do not wish to go.
That is not for me to decide. I will leave that to you. Achilles, men are here to speak to you. King, sent by Agamemnon.
They will ask me to fight.
They will.
And you wish for me to give them an audience.
I do.
I will not dishonor them, or you. I will hear their reasons, but I must say I do not think they will convince me.
That is also not for me to decide.
Achilles knelt, and Peleus placed one hand on his head. I was used to seeing Chiron do this, and Peleus' hand looked withered by comparison, threaded with trembling veins. It was hard to remember, sometimes, that he had been a warrior, that he had walked with gods.
Achilles' room was as we had left it, except for the cot, which had been removed in our absence. I was glad. It was an easy excuse in case anyone asked why we shared the bed. We reached for each other, and I thought of how many nights I had lain awake in this room, loving him in silence. Later, Achilles pressed close for a final drowsy whisper.
If you have to go, know that I will go with you.
I woke to the red of my eyelids straining out the sun. The space on the bed was empty, but the pillows still held the shape of him, and the sheets smelled of us both. He had gone to breakfast, I guessed. He was letting me sleep. Half of me wanted to stay in the room until his return, but that was cowardice. I had a right to a place by his side now, and I would not let the eyes of the servants drive me away. I pulled on my tunic and left to find him. He was not in the great hall, busy with servants removing the same platters and bowls there had always been. He was not in Peleus' council chamber, and he was not in the room where we used to play the lyre. He was not outside either, in the trees he and I had climbed, or by the sea, on the jutting rocks where he waited for his mother, nor on the practice field where the men sweated through their drills, clapping their wooden swords. I do not need to say that my panic swelled, that it became a live thing, slippery and deaf to reason. My steps grew hurried in the kitchen, the basement, the storerooms, and still I did not find him. It was midday when I sought out Peleus' room. It was a sign of my unease that I went at all. I had never spoken to him alone before. The guard outside stopped me when I tried to enter. The king was at rest, he said. He was alone and would see no one. But is Achilles... is the prince with him?
He's alone.
I went to Phoenix next, the old counselor who had looked after Achilles when he was a boy. I was almost choking with fear as I walked to his stateroom. He had clay tablets in front of him, and on them the men's march from the night before, pledging their arms to the war against Troy. The Prince Achilles, I cannot find him.
Peleus did not tell you then.
No.
I am sorry. His mother has him. She took him while she was sleeping. Nobody knows where they have gone.
No one knows where. To Olympus, perhaps, where I could never follow. To Africa, or India, to some village where I did not think to look. My mind twisted desperately from thought to thought. I would return to Chiron, and seek counsel. I would walk the countryside calling his name. She must have drugged him or tricked him. He would not have gone willingly. As I huddled in our empty room, I imagined it. The goddess leaning over us. Her fingernails prick into his skin as she lifts him. Her neck is silvery in the window's moonlight. His body lolls on her shoulder, sleeping or spelled. She carries him from me as a soldier might carry a corpse. She is strong. It takes only one of her hands to keep him from falling. I did not wonder why she had taken him. I knew she had wanted to separate us the first chance she had, as soon as we were out of the mountains. I was angry at how foolish we had been. Of course she would do this. Why had I thought we would be safe? That Chiron's protection would extend here, where it never had before. She would take him to the caves of the sea. She'd teach him contempt for mortals. She would feed him with the food of the gods and burn the human blood from his veins. She would shape him into a figure meant to be painted on vases, to be sung of in songs, to fight against Troy. I imagined him in black armor, a dark helmet that leaves him nothing but eyes, bronze greaves that covered his feet. He stands with a spear in each hand, and he does not know me! Time folded in on itself, closed over me, buried me. Grief pinned me to the bed like an anchor. It was only my pricking memory of Chiron that finally drove me forth. You do not give up so easily as he once did. I went to Achilles.
You started to speak, but I was too quick for you. One of my hands went to clasp his knees, the others reached upwards to seize his chin in my hand. The pose of supplication. It was a gesture I'd seen many times but had never made myself. I was under his protection now. He was bound to treat me fairly by the law of the gods.
Tell me where he is.
I do not know.
I do not believe you.
Skyros,
I will need money.
go to Phoenix. He will give it to you. You may go.
The gold that Phoenix gave me would have carried me to Skyros back and twice over. The ship's captain stared when I handed it to him. I saw his eyes flicking over it, weighing its worth, counting what it could buy him. You will take me. My eagerness displeased him. He did not like to see desperation in those who sought passage. Haste and a free hand spoke of hidden crimes, but the gold was too much for him to object. He made a noise, grudging of acceptance, and sent me to my berth. I had never been at sea before, and was surprised at how slow it was. Every night, we'd pull in at a different port to refill our water box and unload our stores. During the days, I stood at the ship's prow, watching the waves fall away from our black-tarred hull, waiting for the sight of land. I thought only of that small island flung out somewhere in front of me and the fair-haired boy I hoped I would find there. The Bay of Skyros was so small that I did not see it until we had swung around the rocky island's southern rim and were almost upon it.
We are here.
place rose sharply in front of me. There was a path of steps carved into the rock, coiling up to the palace, and I took them. At their top were scrubby trees and goats, and the palace, modest and dull, made half from stone and half from wood. If it had not been the only building in sight, I might not have known it for the king's home. I went to the door and entered. The hall was narrow and dim, and the air dingy with the smell of old dinners. I saw a throne where a young woman sat. I am here to see the king like Achilles.
He is not here, but I am Princess Deodomia, his daughter.
I am a stranger, come for a kindness from your father.
And why not a kindness from me? My father is old and ill. You may address your petition to me, and I will answer it.
I am looking for a friend.
Oh, and who is this friend?
A young man.
I see we do have some of those here. Perhaps you'd like to start with telling me your name.
Chironides, son of Chiron.
Chironides, and?
And I am seeking a friend of mine who would have arrived here perhaps a month ago. He's from Thea.
And why do you seek him?
Well, I have a message for him.
A message for a friend. And why should I tell you if I know this young man enough?
Because you are a powerful princess, and I am your humble suitor.
Well, perhaps I do know such a man, and perhaps I do not. I'll have to think on it. You will stay for dinner and await my decision. If you're lucky, I may even dance for you with my women. You've heard of Deodomia's women.
I am sorry to say that I have not.
All the kings send their daughters here for fostering. Everyone knows that. But you.
I have spent my time in the mountains and have not seen much of the world.
Till dinner, Chironides.
I spent the afternoon in the dusty courtyard grounds. The palace sat on the island's highest point, held up against the blue of the sky, and the view was pretty despite the shabbiness. As I sat, I tried to remember all that I had heard of King Lycomedes. He was known to be kind enough, but a weak king of limited resources. When the sun had set, I returned to the hall. Torches had been lit, but they seemed only to increase the gloom. Deodomia led an old man into the room. She settled him on a throne and gestured grandly to a servant who motioned me to the cracked benches and tables. And I sat.
The king and the princess did not join us. They remained on their thrones at the hall's other end. Food arrived, hearty enough, but my eyes kept returning to the front of the room. I could not tell if I should make myself known. Had she forgotten me?
Stranger from Pelion, you'll never again be able to say you have not heard of Deodomia's women.
She curtsied with the rest and looked up. I made some sort of sound, the breath jumping in my throat. It was quiet, but it was enough. The girl's eyes flickered to me. Several things happened at once, and Achilles, for it was Achilles, dropped Deodomia's hand and flung himself joyously at me, knocking me backwards with the force of his embrace.
Pyrrha! Pyrrha, what is the meaning of this?
My mother
My husband has come for me, and now I may leave your court. Thank you for your hospitality.
We should consult your mother first. It was she who gave you to me to foster. Does she know of this man?
No!
Daughter, stop this scene.
No, you're lying! You betrayed me, monster! Apathes!
Like Amy's froze. Achilles' fingers tightened on mine. In our language, words come in different genders. She had used the masculine form.
What was that?
He is a man. We are married.
What?
Don't do this, please.
I will do this! You are a fool. I am the only one who knew. I knew, and now I'll tell everyone. Achilles, I'll tell everyone!
You are not!
Thetis stood in the doorway. Her face glowed the white blue of the flame center. Her eyes were black, gashed into her skin, and she stood taller than I had ever seen her. Her hair was as sleek as it always was, and her dress was beautiful, but there was something about her that seemed wild, as if an invisible wind whipped around her. She looked like a fury, the demons that came from men's blood. I felt my scalp trying to climb up my head. Even Diodomia dropped into silence. We stood there a moment, facing her. Then Achilles reached up and tore the veil from his hair. The firelight played over his skin, warming it to gold.
No more, Mother.
Something rippled beneath her features, a spasm of sorts. I was half afraid she would strike him down, but she only watched him with those restless black eyes.
Like Achilles, my mother and I have deceived you, for which I apologize. She did not wish for me to go to war, so she hid me here as one of your foster daughters. I am Prince Achilles, son of Peleus.
Is this true?
It is. You are bound to us now, King Lycomedes. You will continue to shelter Achilles here. You will say nothing of who he is, and in return, your daughter will one day be able to claim a famous husband. It is better than she would have done.
I have no choice, as we know.
You cannot. Your mother said the words over us, and we are married. You're my husband.
Let's do this.
You are a foolish girl.
Poor and ordinary, an expedient only. You do not deserve my son. You will keep your peace, or I will keep it for you. I am pregnant.
I was watching Achilles when she said it, and I saw the horror on his face. Lycomedes made a noise of pain. My chest felt hollowed and eggshell thin. Enough. Perhaps I said it. Perhaps I only thought it. I let go of Achilles' hand and strode to the door. Alone, I stepped into the darkness.
Wait! Wait! Please wait!
Let go.
Patroclus, please let me explain. My mother, she made me do it. I did not want to. She said if I did it, she said she would tell you where I was. Patroclus! Patroclus, please say something. Can you hear me? Patroclus!
You did it for nothing.
What do you mean?
Your mother did not tell me where you were. It was Peleus.
She did not tell you?
No, did you truly expect she would?
Yes.
There are 1,000 things I might have said to him then, to reproach him for his naivety. He had always trusted too easily. He had so little in his life to fear or suspect. In the days before our friendship, I almost hated him for this. And some old spark of that flared in me, trying to relight. Anyone else would have known that Thetis acted for our own purposes only. How could he be so foolish? The angry words pricked in my mouth. But when I tried to speak them, I found I could not. His cheeks were flushed with shame, and the skin beneath his eyes was weary. His trust was a part of him, as much as his hands or his miraculous feet, and despite my hurt, I would not wish to see it gone, to see him as uneasy and fearful as the rest of us, for any price. He was watching me closely, reading my face over and over like a priest searching the auguries for an answer. I could see the slight line in his forehead that meant utmost concentration. Something shifted in me then. Like the frozen surface of the Apidanos in spring. I had seen the way he looked at Laodamia, or rather the way he did not. It was the same way he looked at the boys in Thea, blank and unseeing. He had never, not once, looked at me that way.
Forgive me. I did not want it. It was not you. I did not like it.
There is nothing to forgive.
Later that evening, we returned to the palace. The great hall was dark, its fire burned to embers. Achilles had repaired his dress as best he could, but it still gaped at the waist. He held it closed in case we met a lingering guard.
You have returned.
We have.
Your mother is gone. I do not know where. My daughter, your wife, is in her room crying. She hopes you will go to her.
It is unfortunate that she hopes for this.
It is indeed. I suppose you want a room for your friend.
If you do not mind.
No, Prince Achilles, I do not mind. The child must have your name. You understand this?
I understand it.
And you swear it?
I swear it.
Good night to you both.
In the stories, the gods have the power to lay the moon's course if they wish, to spin the single night, the length of many. Such a night was this, a bounty of hours that never ran dry. We drank deeply, thirsted for all that we had missed in the weeks we were separated. It was not until the sky began to blanch to grey that at last I remembered what he had said to Lycomedes in the hall. It had been forgotten amongst Laodamia's pregnancy, his marriage, our reunion. Your mother was trying to hide you from the war?
Yes, she does not want me to go to Troy.
Why? I thought she wanted him to fight.
Not yet, she says. She says I'm too young.
And it was her idea to...
Of course. I wouldn't have done this on my own, and only until the army.
My mind struggled with this. So, truly, it was not because of me that she took you?
Laodamia was because of you, I think. But the rest was for the war.
The next days passed quietly. We took meals in our room and spent long hours away from the palace, exploring the island, seeking what shade there was to be found beneath the scruffy trees. We had to be careful. Achilles could not be seen moving too quickly, climbing too skillfully, holding a spear. But we were not followed, and there were many places where he could safely let his disguise drop. The table was set for the four of us near the front of the hall. We ate there, the four of us, Lycomedes, Laodamia, Achilles, and I. Sometimes we were joined by a counselor, sometimes not. These dinners were mostly silent. They were for four, to quell gossip and to maintain the fiction of Achilles as my wife and the king's ward. Laodamia's eyes darted eagerly towards him, hoping he would look at her, but he never did. Sometimes she saw me watching her. Her face would grow hard then, and her eyes would narrow. She put her hand on her belly possessively, as if to ward off some spell I might cast. Perhaps she thought I was mocking her, flourishing in my triumph. Perhaps she thought I hated her. She did not know that I almost asked him 100 times to be a little kinder to her. You do not have to humiliate her so thoroughly, I thought. But it was not kindness he liked, it was interest. His gaze passed over her as if she were not there. Once, she tried to speak to him, her voice trembling with hope.
Are you well, Pyrrha?
I had to nudge him beneath the table.
What is it?
The princess wants to know if you're well.
Oh, I am well.
days wore on, Achilles took to waking early, so that he might practice with spears before the sun rose high. We had hidden weapons in a distant grove, and he would exercise there before returning to womanhood in the palace. Sometimes he might visit his mother afterwards, sitting on one of Scarus's jagged rocks, dangling his feet into the sea. It was on one of these mornings when Achilles was gone that there was a loud rap at my door. Yes?
You are to come with me.
Why?
The princess ordered it. It will be better if you go quickly.
All right. The narrow corridors where they led me, I had never visited before. They were the women's quarters, twisting off from the main rooms, a beehive of narrow cells where Deidamia's foster sisters slept and lived. I heard laughter from behind the doors and the endless shush-shush of the shuttle. Achilles had said the sun did not come through the windows here, and there was no breeze. He had spent nearly 2 months in them. I could not imagine it. At last, we came to a large door, cut from fine wood with the rest. The guard knocked on it, opened it, and pushed me through. I heard it close firmly behind me. Inside, Deidamia was seated primly on a leather-covered chair, regarding me. There was a table beside her and a small stool at her feet. Otherwise, the room was empty. She must have planned this, I realized. She knew that Achilles was away. You wanted to speak with me?
Yes, Patroclus, I wanted to speak with you. You're not even handsome. That is the funny. You are quite ordinary. I have not given you leave to speak. Look at you. Your neck is short, your chest thin as a boy's, and your face hideous. My women quite agree. Even my father agrees. Well, what do you say?
You're not giving
Don't
me.
be an idiot. I hate you. I'm leaving tomorrow. That should make you happy. My father wants me to begin my confinement early. He says it would bring shame upon me for the pregnancy to be seen before it was known I was married.
I'm sorry.
Achilles does not regard me. Even though I bear his child and I am his wife, do you know why this is so?
I do not know.
That's a lie. You're the reason. You will sail with him and I will be left here.
I should go.
No. I'll call the guards if you try. I'll say you attacked me. You were angry that he married me. That he played with me. You were jealous. It was not just once.
It was twice. Achilles had told me. She thought she had power to drive a wedge between the two of us, but she had nothing. I'm sorry. Let me get your father, or one of your women.
Please. Please do not go.
She was shivering, like something just born. Always before, her hurts had been small, and there had been someone there to offer her comfort. Now there was only this room, the bare walls and single chair, the closet of her grief. Almost unwillingly, I stepped towards her. She gave a small sigh, like a sleepy child, and drew gratefully into the circle of my arms. Her tears bled through my tunic. I held the curves of her waist, felt the warm, soft skin of her arms. He had held her just like this, perhaps, but Achilles seemed a long way off. His brightness had no place in this dull, weary room. Her face, hot as if with fever, pressed against my chest. All I could see of her was the top of her head, the haul and tangle of her shining dark hair, and pale scalp beneath. After a time, her sobs subsided, and she drew me closer. I felt her hand stroking my back, the length of her body pressing to mine. First, I did not understand. Then I did. You do not want this.
I do.
Deidamia, the guard is outside.
You will not bother us.
Achilles will be looking for me.
You will not look here.
She took my hand.
Do you think I'm beautiful?
Yes. Her body was small and delicately made, just the barest rise of belly when the child grew. My hand reached up to stroke her cheek, to trace the softness beneath her eyes. The look in them to see was terrible. There was no hope or pleasure, only determination. Almost I fled, but I could not bear to see her face broken open with more sorrow, more disappointment. Another boy who could not give her what she wished. So I allowed her hands, fumbling a little, to draw me to the bed. A slow, climbing tension moved through me. It was a strange, drowsy feeling, so different from my sure, sharp desires for Achilles. She seemed hurt by this, my heavy-lidded repose more indifference. And so I let myself move, made sounds of pleasure, pressed my chest against hers as if in passion. Afterwards, her face was shadowed and distant, her posture strangely stiff. I reached to hold her. I could offer her this at least, but she drew away from me and stood, her eyes wearing. The skin beneath them was as dark as bruises. Well, I did not understand what she had wanted. I only knew that she had not got it. I stood and pulled on my tunic. I would have touched her, stroked her face, but her eyes warned me away, sharp and full. She held open the door. Hopelessly, I stepped over the threshold.
Wait. Tell him. Goodbye. Tell him goodbye.
And she closed the door, dark and thick between us. When I found Achilles again, I pressed myself to him in relief at the joy between us, at being released from her sadness and hurt. Later, I almost convinced myself that it had not happened, that it had been a vivid dream drawn from his descriptions and too much imagination. But that is not the truth.